For centuries, the Ottoman Empire was a great military force, dominating the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. While its land-based conquests often take the spotlight, its mastery of the seas was equally formidable, steering the course of history. The story of the Ottoman Navy begins humbly in the late 13th century. As the nascent Ottoman state emerged from the ashes of the Seljuk Empire, it inherited a coastline that promised opportunity and peril. The early Ottoman fleet was little more than a collection of small, nimble vessels, built to protect merchant ships and repel raids along the Aegean shores. But even in its infancy, the Ottoman leadership understood the sea's immense potential. Through trial and perseverance, the Ottomans began to establish themselves as a rising naval power. By the early 15th century, they faced and overcame fierce challenges from the Byzantine Empire and Venetian Republic. Victories at sea paved the way for territorial expansion and control of critical maritime trade routes. The turning point came in 1453 with the conquest of Constantinople. The brilliant tactics of Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror didn't stop at land. His use of ships to blockade the Byzantine capital demonstrated the growing sophistication of the Ottoman Navy. This marked the beginning of a new era, as the Ottoman Navy kept improved its power alongside the military achievements on the field. By the 16th century, the Ottoman Navy had reached its peak of power. Commanders like Hayreddin Barbarossa and Dragut turned the Mediterranean into an Ottoman lake, striking fear into European powers and forging alliances through maritime strength. Massive, state-of-the-art warships and elite sailors brought both commerce and conflict under Ottoman control. Their dominance not only secured the empire's borders, but also transformed the geopolitical landscape of the seas. As European powers entered the age of exploration, maritime technology advanced rapidly. The Ottomans, never content to fall behind, absorbed these advancements and refined them. By integrating European ship designs and perfecting their own techniques, they created fleets of larger, more durable warships, armed with cutting-edge artillery that could shatter enemy lines from a distance. Technology alone wasn't enough. The true strength of the Ottoman Navy lay in its tactics. From the disciplined use of artillery salvos to intricate maneuvers like the crescent formation, the Ottomans turned naval battles into displays of strategic brilliance. History remembers the Ottoman Navy through the battles that defined its legacy. Some were great victories, like the Siege of Rhodes in 1522, where Suleiman the Magnificent deployed a vast fleet to blockade the island by sea, cutting off supplies and escape routes for the Knights Hospitaller. Combined with over 100,000 troops on land and a formidable artillery barrage, the Ottoman Navy's control of the waters ensured that the defenders were completely isolated. After 6 months of relentless assaults and bombardment, the exhausted knights were compelled to surrender. The Battle of Preveza in 1538 stands as a testament to Ottoman naval supremacy, where Hayreddin Barbarossa, commanding a fleet of 122 galleys, used deceptive tactics and superior seamanship to outmaneuver and annihilate the 300-strong Holy League fleet under Andrea Doria. Similarly, at the Battle of Djerba in 1560, Dragut's strategic ambush caught the allied European fleet by surprise, and with the Ottomans' rapid-firing cannons and skilled mariners, they inflicted devastating losses, capturing or sinking most of the enemy ships and cementing Ottoman dominance in the Western Mediterranean. However, the Battle of Lepanto in 1571 were costly defeats. The Holy League's well-coordinated forces, led by Don John of Austria, achieved a rare victory against the Ottomans, capturing over 100 ships and killing thousands of Ottoman sailors and soldiers. Yet even in loss, the Ottomans showed great resilience. rebuilding a fleet of over 150 ships within 6 months, reclaiming their authority on the seas and proving that their maritime power was far from diminished. Every great power eventually faces the tides of change. For the Ottoman Navy, centuries of dominance gave way to challenges it could no longer overcome, a decline shaped by both internal turmoil and external pressures. By the 17th century, cracks had begun to appear in the foundation of Ottoman naval power. Internal strife within the empire diverted resources and attention away from the fleet, while rapid advancements in European naval technology left the Ottomans struggling to keep pace. Steam-powered ships, new artillery systems, and shifting trade routes rendered the once dominant fleet increasingly outdated. The empire made efforts to modernize its navy, but these attempts were often hampered by insufficient funding, political corruption, and resistance to change. While rivals like Britain and France built fleets capable of projecting power across oceans, the Ottoman Navy remained largely confined to defending its dwindling territory. Some defeats were catastrophic. The Battle of Chesm in 1770 saw the Ottoman fleet decimated by the Russian Navy, a loss that exposed vulnerabilities the empire could no longer afford. Decades later, the Battle of Navarino in 1827 marked another devastating blow, as a combined European fleet annihilated the Ottoman-Egyptian armada, hastening the empire's retreat from its Mediterranean strongholds. These setbacks were more than just military losses. They signaled the end of an era. The Ottoman Navy, once the master of the Mediterranean, had become a shadow of its former self, unable to reclaim its place on the world stage. By the late 19th century, the Ottoman Navy was plagued by outdated ships, inadequate training, and mismanagement. Despite attempts at reform, such as the fleet modernization efforts under Sultan Abdulaziz and later initiatives under Sultan Abdulhamid II, the Navy failed to regain its former prominence. The Navy's diminished state became glaringly apparent during the Italo-Turkish War and the Balkan Wars, where it was largely ineffective against modern European fleets. These failures underscored the empire's broader decline, illustrating how its inability to adapt to the demands of a new age ultimately sealed its fate as a secondary maritime power. However, remnants of the Ottoman Navy played a crucial role in World War I, particularly during the Gallipoli campaign, where its mine-laying operations and coastal defenses, supported by vessels like the Nusret mine-layer, inflicted significant damage on Allied fleets and helped secure one of the most critical Ottoman victories of the war. Despite these efforts, the Navy's overall state of obsolescence became increasingly evident as the war progressed, leading to further decline under the pressures of post-war treaties. Following the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish Republic inherited a fragmented and outdated fleet, yet it laid the groundwork for a new era of naval reform.